Hey folks, welcome back to the garage. Today we'll be looking at the CGSULIT BD006 Battery Tester. This is a sponsored video. They sent this to me free of charge in exchange for my honest review without any expectations or requirements. So big thank you to CGSULIT. Let's take a look. Now I've worked with CGSULIT before. They sent me an OBD reader tool that I reviewed on this channel. If you're interested, I'll add a link to that video in the description. It is important for me to tell you that I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm an amateur mechanic, tool enthusiast. I'm actually a software engineer by trade, but I have been doing amateur mechanic YouTube for about 6 years now. I really appreciate the opportunity to check out new tools, which this actually is a relatively new offering from CGSULIT. I believe this replaces the BD715. I think it actually might be cheaper as well. At the time of this review, this retails for $59.99 on their website. And I think there's a whole bunch of other like coupons and other stuff that you can get through the website as well. I didn't check Amazon, but I'm pretty sure that you could probably find it there as well. This is an upgrade to the prior offering. This one has a color screen, whereas the other one didn't. Let's take a quick look at the packaging and the marketing on here. Apologies for the mess. I'm cleaning out my basement, so I have some stuff that I happened across. So this is a tester for all 12-volt lead acid batteries, accurately diagnose regular flooded AGM, GEL, EFB, and VRLA types. Voltage, cold cranking amps, state of health, and state of charge. Cranking test detects starting performance under load with voltage drop and duration data. Charging system test verifies alternator performance on 12-volt and 24-volt systems. Simply connect and test, no experience required. Great. Look at this label here. It says car battery tester, motorcycle, RV, golf cart, car, boat, truck, motorcycle, ATV. So I guess it's basically, you know, whatever battery. I haven't opened this yet, so we'll open this together. Pretty simple. Recently really got into 3D printing too, so I'm going to keep this for filament. All right, first impressions. These are okay. If you're used to like a NOCO battery charger, these are similar to that. They feel sturdy. They feel like they'll grip on and be okay. Marketing material also says that you can't hook this up wrong. It'll just tell you that you did it wrong and to swap them. One of my complaints with the OBD scanner was that it felt a little light and a little cheap. It feels a little heavier. So sometimes the weight of it can kind of be an indicator of quality. Where have I heard that before? But this actually feels pretty good. It does have a little weight to it, more than the OBD scanner. All right, so we know what it says on the box. Let's take a look at what it says on the website. All right, so here we are in their website. 12 volt, 24 volt support, battery capacity from 10 amp hours to 300 amp hours. See, check it out. There's a first purchase, 5% off site-wide. Yeah, it stores your test history, so that's great. Testing speed in 3 seconds. Accuracy is 0.01 volt. Color LCD screen. Target users is like prosumers. Standard supported SAE, JIS, DIN, and IEC. I don't know what any of those are except for SAE. Battery test, cranking test, charging test. 20 to 2000 cold cranking amps. AGM, that's important. Oh, the real-time voltage trend analysis, we'll give that a try. Multi-language, 1-year warranty and lifetime support. So how to use it? We hook it up and it powers on automatically, allowing you to start testing immediately. Great. All right, so that was a lot of information. I do have a few batteries we can test today. We can check all my cars. They're all in different states of their life. Let's go check out my 2019 F-150 first. There we go. Let's check the battery. This is an AGM. Cold cranking amps is 950. $950 amps. All right, testing. Replace. Health 37%. Charge 82%. Huh. How about that? Start the engine. Huh. Interesting. Okay, increase speed to hold for 5 seconds. Press enter to continue. Okay. Charging is normal, so that's good. This is the history. There's 576 cold cranking amps. All right, so this is a 2016 Ford Edge, and the battery is about 5 years old. So this one should be way worse than the last one we tested. I did drive this car this morning to go get coffee though. Let's check battery. This one is a regular flooded cold cranking amps, 650. Okay, good charging, 71%. 7% charge. All right, let's do the cranking test. Cranking low, cranking time, cranking voltage. Okay. Charging is normal, that's good. So if you press the V button, you get into this screen where it just shows you the voltage. So I guess what you could do is you could turn on your fans and stuff like that and see what the draw is, and if the alternator is able to catch up to it, things of that nature. Maybe if you want to look for a parasitic draw, you can start pulling fuses out and things like that, see how it changes things. This is pretty cool. I'm not happy about the state of my batteries. Alright, let's we'll button this up and then we'll go check the Project Car Mustang. Alright, next up is my Coyote Swap 1989 Mustang GT. We are going to, this is still a huge work in progress. So now this is the AGM battery that was originally in my F-150 before I replaced it. This one I keep on a trickle charge pretty much at all times, and it keeps it on life support, so it runs pretty well. The only thing is it's in the trunk, so the cranking test will be a little bit more of a struggle for getting to the front of this. Okay, so what do we got? 12.7 volts. I'm going to take it off the trickle charger really quick. All right, that wouldn't be fair. It's off the trickle charger. All right, let's do, this is AGM, cold cranking amps of 760. Wonder if I had the wrong CCA in the last one. All right, good battery, 81%. Charge is 100%, of course. Let's do, all right, this is gonna get a little loud. So let's do this. Sorry, this is like a huge mess here. Can we do this? Can you keep an eye on that? All right, crank. Okay, here we go. Whew, that was loud. So that's not too surprising because it's been on a trickle charge, so having it on a trickle charge is good. All right, this is a 2006 Mustang. Fun fact is that it only has 2,600 miles, 2,750 miles on it. This battery is kept on a trickle charge. However, if it's taken off the trickle charge, it will it'll die in like a week or so. So I've been keeping it propped up. This is a regular flooded cell, cranking amps at 740. Unfortunately, I have a ton of undonated clothes behind this, so I can't really start it up. So this I totally get. Health 23%, charge 100%. I'm not gonna start this up. It starts, it's great. It's a fantastic motor, but this is a 2003 V6 Mustang, and this battery is the same. It's 8 years old. However, this thing is stone cold. There is no juice left in this. So let's see if we get anything to show up. I'm sure it's just going to give us an error message of some sort. I have to replace this. I'm in the middle of like a bunch of things on here. Yeah, this isn't even like, it's not even starting up. Okay, well, there you go. If your battery's dead, it won't even start the thing up. This is a bad battery all the way down and has to be replaced. But that does give me a thought. What if we charge this overnight and then we see what it looks like tomorrow? We'll probably see the same thing that we saw in the 06, but let's try it, right? What do we got to lose here? All right, so my battery charger is saying this has 1.6 volts in it. Let's see if this will even work. I really hope this doesn't burn my house down. All right, well, it seems like it's charging, so we'll let it go. Check in with it tomorrow. All right, this thing's been cooking all night. 11.4 volts. That's not good. All right, let me take this off. Health 0%, charge 0%. Well, that's that. I knew this battery was toast. So this battery's 8 years old, and I was going to replace it anyway, but I'm also in the process of doing a power steering rack, and I never finished the power steering pump from last year, so I'm going to finish that up soon. But you know what this thing really needs is an unnecessary wall mount. Let's 3D print one. There you go. Now it's always at hand. And now I need to just put my other battery stuff up here. I'll make the file for this downloadable in Maker World, I think. By the way, folks, it's like $29.99 on Amazon. I did check. I'll leave a link in the description. I highly recommend it at that price. Let's go back in time and we'll wrap this one up. And back to the day before. Let's get into the things I disliked first. Not a whole lot. The surprise of my truck's battery being that bad. Not only is it annoying because that was like a $230 battery, but it seems to crank so well. So I have no idea why that's happening. One other thing that kind of bugged me a little bit is that on the website, looking at, it seems like the page for this particular one might have been borrowed from the prior version, the 715, and it still has the reviews and the comments from the 715. So you'll see people posting pictures of it or actually mentioning the model number, and it will have like a black and white screen versus the color screen that's on this. So I'm a software engineer, web app development, actually mostly by trade. So it kind of feels a little bit bad. I guess that's probably temporary until the new version has more reviews. Not a fan of that. The next thing is this. It is, I think it's mini USB Type B. I would really love it if we no longer had any of these anywhere. USB-C kind of took off as a standard. We should be using USB-C for everything. So like, I want to get rid of all my USB mini plugs, like just enough of them already. Not a deal breaker, obviously, but when I was able to plug it in, there's a section in the About area where you can go to the software update. If you're plugged in with USB, it'll say something along the lines of USB connection successes. Please do not unplug it. However, you can't press any of the buttons. The only thing you can do is unplug it. Didn't do anything bad, but it's just a little weird. But with that stuff being said, there's a lot to like here, I think. Feels good in your hand. Like I said, it's a little bit light. The OBD scanner was like super light because Pretty much it just got all of its power through the OBD, and it didn't really need anything. Again, weight can sometimes feel like a subconscious indicator of quality. This feels good. It is a rugged ABS case, they say on the website. Screen is bright, navigation makes sense, the buttons all make sense. Do like how the results are pretty quick. There might be a faster way to figure out the type of battery that you have. I know if you go to the help section, it will show you like a table of battery types and their CCA ratings. I wanted to also mention that in the past I've had good support from CGSULIT. I went through their support routine to get help from my OBD scanner to get the files uploaded, and that they were very helpful with that. It was very quick. I do like that it has a 1-year warranty and lifetime support. That sounds nice. I also like that it has built-in protections against hooking things up wrong, because I'm an idiot. These clamps feel great. Really beefy spring in there. Got good contact when you hook it up to the right place on the battery. Again, I'm an idiot. But yeah, so these remind me of like the NOCO brand ones. They're high quality. I also wanted to include something about the price here. I do think that this is a decent value at $60, but at $29.99 on Amazon, I think it's a phenomenal deal just to have this in your garage. I was surprised by some of the results, but you know what? That's my battery's fault, not the device. So in conclusion, I think this is a pretty great tool. There's not like a lot that I could detract from it. It does what it says it's going to do. I think it's like an exceptional tool to have for a DIY person or amateur YouTube garage, just to have really quick diagnostic tool. Will this hold up in a professional circumstance? I don't see anything specific that would make me think not. I mean, a professional garage is a place where tools get used daily, they get dropped, they get, things happen. I certainly think it could, but I feel like at that point, longevity and repeated use becomes a higher factor in determining if that's the case. Again, though, for the price, a prosumer user would probably do pretty well with this. Great, so if there's any questions or anything about it, let me know. If there's anything you want me to try with it, I'm more than happy to do a follow-up or just like a community post or something with an extra video. Let me know. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.